Well, good afternoon, everyone, or anyone who's listening. I hope this is working. This is interesting because I have never actually used Restream and gone into my own um, Facebook group. I use Restream and Zoom all the time, but I do it for my live show. And I'm not into a Facebook group. I go into my Facebook page, I go into Facebook my profile, I go on LinkedIn, and I go on YouTube, but this will be a first. So I'm excited because I love doing things for the first time, and it's how we grow. So I'm always ready to grow because this whole adventure online and making a business is a wonderful, wonderful experience. And part of making a business or making a life that you absolutely love and that you feel in control of usually ends up with you having some goals you'd like to achieve, some things you'd like to do, and gosh sakes, Happy New Year. It's January. Everybody's making New Year's resolutions. Of course, sadly, the science tells us that most New Year's resolutions are discarded by the time January is done. So much for those wonderful New Year's resolutions. They haven't changed too many lives. And I'm interested in changing lives and giving people the life that they would love to lead. And part of that then is helping them achieve the things that they really want to do. And one of the things that I want to talk about is how you can actually achieve your goals, not just set them. Because we've all heard a lot of talk about goal setting. And of course, we have SMART goals. And so we know that they have to be specific and they have to be time bound and they have to be, things that we think we can reach, all of those good things. So we know a little bit about goal setting, but we haven't become masters, many of us, of goal achievement. And I really want to do something to change that. And part of changing that is when you hit a milestone or you look at your life and you're visualizing your life, you set up some destinations, things you'd like to do, places you'd like to go, houses you'd like to live in, houses you'd like to own, houses you'd like to rent. All of those things are destinations that you would like to get to. And so when you start with a destination in mind, it sort of says, okay, now I've got to create a plan to get here. But just before we go to the plan, let's think of a road trip. And so I'm going to use the Vancouver example because I live here in Vancouver. So if I want to go on a road trip and I want to get to Kamloops, which is up the road, I don't know, a couple of 100 miles, maybe, not that far away. But there are a couple of ways that I can get there. And so I have to go, okay, well, there's my destination. And what is my first goal? So I live here on the very west side of Vancouver. Actually, I live in Richmond, which is what everybody who flies into Vancouver knows as the Vancouver Airport. That's where Richmond is. So we are right on the edge of the ocean, and I have to get to the interior of the province of BC. Well, there's many different ways that I can get there. And so the first thing that I have to do is I have to set my first goal, which is to hit Langley, because one of the cities that I know I will have to pass through or pass by, depending on the route that I choose, is going to be Langley. So my first goal is to get to Langley. And then once I've got to Langley, because of course you have to cope with the traffic and you have to cope with accidents and you have to cope with all these other things, then once you reach Langley, you can set a new goal and you can move on to the next part of achieving my destination, which is ultimately Kamloops. Well, let's take that into our lives a little bit. Think about if you are trying to set up a business and you want a business that pays you, let's say $100,000 in a year. And the most money you've made so far is $25,000. So you've got to fill in that $25,000 gap. So that's your destination. And you have said that you've got a year to do that. Great. Now we know what's our destination and we know the time at which we want to get there. And now we have to figure out some of what it is that is our desires. Like, how do we want to get there? What difference do we want to make? Who do we want as clients? Who do we want to serve? What do we want to sell? All of those things are our desires. And once you get clear on that, so I want to sell, or my desire is to sell, is to help 20 coaches earn at least $100,000 this year. Okay, that's my desire. Now I need to set up a goal that'll take me there. And since I've given myself an entire year to do this, I've got a long time. And the trouble with a long time is that I tend to be procrastinators. Therefore, we don't have to really worry about it at this point in time because we've got a long time to do that. But this very smart man, just a minute, I'm going to grab my book here because I hid it. Brian P. Moran realized that really we like to set yearly goals, but it would be good if we shortened the time frame. So he decided that he would shorten the time frame to 12 weeks. So now you've got 4 12-week years in every linear year. So by the time 2024 comes along, I will have had 4 12-week years. So now I've got a 12-week year, which ends at the end of March. All of a sudden, my goal has to be calculated to be at the end of March. And I don't have all this great gap of time. So, if I want to help 20 people over the course of the year, then by the end of March, I'd like to help at least 5 people achieve that $100,000 mark. So I've now got a goal that I can set up that says I need to help 5 people achieve $100,000 this year. And I need to at least get them into my program and start working with them. Maybe I'm offering a 3-month program to set them for the basis of it. Maybe I'm offering a year-long program. And then I need milestones in the program so that they know they're progressing. And most people don't have year-long programs. Most people have something like 3-month or 6-month programs. And so that period of 3 months, the 12-week year, becomes very easy because you can have 5 people finish your 3-month program in that first 12-week year. But now you have to hustle because you have to go find the people that would like to do this with you, figure out how you are going to enroll them. And that's where you start the plan. And many people start the plan looking at either too much space or looking at it in too uncertain a way. They aren't sure exactly what they want to do and in what space of time because they've got this year-long gap. And so developing a plan that will produce a result in a year takes a whole lot more planning and a whole lot of milestones along the way. Whereas with the 12-week year, all you need is to figure out what you can do to get 5 people into your program and get them through the program that you have for them in this first 12-week year. And it's okay to run over and have a few rough edges, you know, if it's not written stone, you are making this up as you go along. But if you're in my Facebook group, and you're welcome to get in my Facebook group, you will find some documents there that will help you set up and plan for your 12-week year. I'd also encourage you to get this book. I don't have an Amazon account yet. I'm not going to make any money from it. But those documents, the guy that has prepared those documents, he does have an Amazon account. So if you purchase the book and purchase it through his link, he'd make a little money. That would be a great thing to do for him. And I'm grateful because it's nice to have documents that are already ideally set up to take us through the 12-week year. Because this is something certainly that I'm going to take on, and I'm going to encourage everybody around me to take on. Not only people that I'm working with, but people that are important to me because I want people to succeed. And one of the easiest ways to succeed is to actually have a plan and an achievable timeline, and to know and clearly be able to tell if you are on the path to succeeding. Because let's say you get to the end of March and you didn't get 5 people, but you've still got this year-long destination of helping 20 people get to $100,000. So that's your long-term ideal destination. You will have helped 20 people. So you didn't get 5. So now you know that you have to think about getting a few more people for the next 12-week year. So maybe you get 6 or 7. And, you know, just because you decided you need 5 doesn't mean that you can't start and do one of your trainings with 3 people. And it doesn't mean that you couldn't do it with 7 people, because if you have 7 people excited, great. Help them achieve the life they want and start their dreams. So whatever you do that helps people transform their lives and get closer to the life that they dream of, then the better that it is for you and the better it is for them. So if you had too many, well, maybe you want to extend your plan, your goal. You can look at your goal and say, okay, I think I was too cautious. I think I can help more people. So now you can extend it out and you can go ahead and have that happen. Or you can go, this is a bit harder than I thought. Maybe I need to only help 15 people this year, get better at what I'm preparing for people or what I'm doing or how I'm enrolling people. And I can think about my destination for the following year. But if you have a destination and you have a desire, then you can start to create a plan to fulfill that desire and take you to your destination. And the one thing that you really are going to need on top of that, that's why I call part of my program the 4D Success Program, is you need discipline. And this is where it can be a real challenge, because when we're doing it by ourselves, sometimes that discipline is hard to come by. It's easy for us to make excuses. It's easy for us not to do this. It's easy for us to waffle on this or that or the other thing. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people get coaches, is to make sure that they can stay on track. And I want to be that for the people that I serve this year. I don't just want to be that. And it would be fine if I would settle for that, because it would make a huge difference for people. But I, of course, have a big desire to help people get press ready and start to use the press in their marketing and really up their whole brand. That's where my absolute destination and my vision for my life and what I want to offer people is. So I know that the people that are in my program are going to need discipline, and I'm there to help them do that and help them achieve what they want by helping them set goals in the right way, get clear on their desires, because with clarity, everything gets a whole lot easier. And wouldn't it be great to know, as you start the next new year, that you had a working plan, you knew how to do it, this was really easy, and now you could look at it and say, oh, wow, I only set myself up to help 20 people. This year, I'm going to help 50 people, because now I really know how I can do that, what difference I can make, exactly what I have to do to make sure they get the results they want. All of those things will have fallen in place. And this is the foundation year. This is the year that you want to put that foundation in and start using the 12-week year as your way to make sure that you finally achieve those goals. And, the 12-week year says only have 3 goals for each of the 12-week periods. Because oftentimes people have many goals. You might have a family goal. You might have a health goal. You might have a work goal. You might have a church or a spiritual goal. All of these different goals are great. But when you are really working on your really big destination and you want to get there, you may have to kind of ease back on a couple of things. I know I'm taking on when I'm just talking about helping people achieve their desires and reach their destination this year. But I'm also on a goal, a personal goal, to the first 12-week year to lose about 40 pounds because I've been procrastinating. It's really not that hard. And fortunately, I've got a new way that science has finally discovered really works pretty gosh darn well and is really, really quite easy to stick to and easy to follow. So I'm excited that that goal is going to be achieved. And I also want to at least set up a trip that my husband and I can take later in the year. I'm not trying to fit a trip into this quarter. I just want to set up a trip and get it into our calendar so that I know that I can start thinking about it and can start setting things in motion to have that occur. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it gives you some food for thought. And I will be in the group a lot more. I have been missing in action, but I am not going to be missing in action anymore. And because I want to have people become inspirational influencers. I mean, I have a whole live show, Inspirational Influencer News, where I interview people who are inspirational influencers. I want that for every one of you, because then we can make a difference on this planet. And gosh knows, the planet looks like it could use a little help from some inspirational influencers. So if that excites you, by all means, stick around because that's where we're going. And thanks for listening.